Hello and welcome to the Foilers TV. This is it, the grand finale from the Rio Olympics, Alexander Massialis versus Daniele Garazzo for the gold medal. As always, the link to the commentary video on my website is in the description. Now let's get started. To make it to the finals, Alex first beat Mohamed Essam 15-7, then Archer Akhmat Kuzin 15-9, then had his legendary comeback against Giorgio Avola, and then beat Richard Cruz 15-9 in the semifinals. And Garazzo beat Tarek Ayad 15-8, then Ala Eldin Abu El Qassem 15-13, then Guilherme Toldo 15-8, and then Timur Safin 15-8 in the other semifinal. Spoiler alert, this bout ended with Garazzo winning 15-11. If you just consider the score, it doesn't look as nail-bitingly close as some of the earlier bouts, and I guess that's kind of accurate. But if you look more closely, the scores followed a very similar pattern to Alex's bout with Avola in the round of 8. It was pretty close up to 7-7, which they reached with 47 seconds on the clock in the first period. Then Garazzo surged up to 14-7 in just 32 seconds of fencing. But at that point, Garazzo might have gotten a bit greedy and let Alex slip in a counterattack with less than a second left, a crucial momentum swing right before the break. In the second period, Alex looked to be heading for another miraculous comeback, scoring 3 more times, but Garazzo finally put a stop to him at 15-11. As we take a look at both fencers' actions, I'm going to assume that you've already seen my in-depth analyses of their fencing from my videos on their earlier bouts. Instead of repeating myself here, I'm instead going to do a statistical breakdown of the whole bout. Ordinarily, this type of analysis isn't super useful because it doesn't really show how the actions evolved over the course of the bout. But here, even though the scores followed a noticeable pattern, the types of actions we saw were distributed pretty uniformly. So, in total, we saw 30 phrases this bout, with 1 touch for Alex being lost due to connection problems. Of these, 14 ended with Garazzo marching, 6 ended with Alex marching, 6 ended right off the lines, and 4 ended with infighting. Of the times Garazzo marched, here's what happened. Alex parried once, which Garazzo won with a counter parry riposte. Alex tried to stop it 4 times, all of which Garazzo was able to catch him. Alex counterattacked by crushing the distance, twisting, and or closing out 5 times, of which 3 were successful and 2 were not. And 5 times, Alex thought that he had the right of way to attack into Garazzo. He was correct once, resulting in an attack no call for Garazzo, and he was incorrect 3 times, resulting in his attempt being called a counterattack. Of the times that Alex marched, Garazzo found 1 parry riposte off target, he counterattacked 4 times, of which 3 hit and Alex found an off target on 1, and he thought he had the right of way once, which turned out to be wrong. Of the actions off the lines, Alex had the right of way in 5, of which he hit 4 and missed 1, resulting in a touch for Garazzo. Garazzo only had the right of way once, which he hit, and once was simultaneous. And finally, of the phrases that ended with infighting, Alex scored once, Garazzo scored once, and nobody scored twice. It's hopefully clear from all of this number crunching that Garazzo's best action by far was his marching attack, which is fairly obvious given his style. But Alex's best action this bout was his attack right off the line, which is a bit surprising. You'd expect either his march using the prep or his counterattack to be his most consistent actions. But it seems that Garazzo's marching attack was so strong that Alex's best chance was to not let Garazzo start it altogether. I think the most telling thing here isn't the difference in what actions were the most effective for either fencer, but this difference here. Garazzo was able to turn a light on with his march much more often than Alex was, whose ever light that happened to be. Compared to his opponent, Alex had trouble converting his march into someone scoring. A lot of that was due to Garazzo being very good at escaping from his finish, either by simply running away, scaring him into stopping, or taking the blade. It's also maybe a sign that Alex's high, that had started during his comeback with Avola and lasted pretty much right through his bout with Cruz, might have faltered by this point. Fatigue might have also been a factor. But all in all, Garazzo's marching attack once again dominated this bout, and because of it he was able to take home a gold medal, while Alex had to content himself with silver. Thanks for watching. Click the links on the screen to see my analysis of both fencers' previous bouts from the semi and quarterfinals. Links to their other bouts are in the description, along with a link to my Discord server and the commentated bout on the website. And that's a wrap on the Rio men's individual foil event. What an incredible journey it has been. What more can I even say, except of course, to stay sharp.